After 50 matches played, only one remains, the final. We have the back-to-back winners from 2008 and 2012 versus the team who has made back-to-back finals and are looking for their first title. It's Spain versus England on July 14th, a team that has only recently found some form, while the other has sparkled throughout the tournament. What's up, guys? I'm Adrian, and we have one more match to preview for this tournament. I'm kind of sad, man. I've had fun living this tournament with you guys, and I've also had fun seeing how you guys have done in the official Rabona TV club in FC Quiz. There are 373 of us in there, and it won't shut down after the tournament, so be sure to join and see if you are smarter than Gentle Trainer, the absolute legend who tops the Rabona TV Euro 2024 quiz standings ahead of Minvan and Omar T. Use the link in the description to join, or if you have FC Quiz downloaded already because you love their daily quizzes, then just search for Rabona TV in the club section and join us. Let's look at Spain's run thus far, because as you can see, there are some big nations on this list, starting out with that huge win over Croatia, absolutely dominating Italy, but hitting the woodwork a couple of times, forcing big saves out of Donnarumma, etc., completely rotating against Albania and still winning. Perfect 3 for 3 there. Then they beat Georgia by a suitable score. Beat Germany in extra time, but it was a close one as they lost Pedri due to injury, and De La Fuente subbed off both Williams and Yamal by the 80th minute. Then Wirtz equalized. So Mikel Merino scored what was the winner. And by the way, his celebration was the same as his dad's, who had scored in the same stadium in 1991 for Osasuna. Pretty sick, eh? Anyway, then Spain beat France relatively coolly, though they had a few scary moments due to not having 2 out of their 4 of their preferred back line. England, let's see their run. A good 25 minutes against Serbia was enough to get a win. Dreadful second half, eh? Before 2 more draws in the group to finish first, they were 30 seconds away from elimination against Slovakia before Jude's magic, Kane finishing the job. They then had a shootout win over Switzerland after Saka pulled them back in with a great solo effort. And finally, they defeated the Netherlands with a contentious penalty, but Watkins' goal was nice, wasn't it? Controversial officiating aside in that Netherlands match, just finished doing my video on that. If we can look past that, you can see that England's performance as a whole was absolutely their best of the tournament by far. As well as that, Gareth Southgate got his substitutions right, and he wasn't just reactive with it, but proactive. He brought on Palmer and Watkins with 10 minutes to go, and they were the ones that won the match for England, Palmer setting up Watkins. Even during the first half, England looked a lot better in this match, a lot better. They had been dreadful for much of the tournament and would drag themselves through thanks to moments of magic from individuals, Bellingham and Saka to name 2. Moments of magic that completely belied their overall performance in the match prior to those moments. It's not a stretch to say that without that, England wouldn't be here, as England were lucky to play Slovakia and Switzerland, teams where these kinds of slumpy performances from England wouldn't be punished as harshly as, say, a match against Germany or anyone on the other side of the bracket. But again, against the Netherlands, they looked far better, and it's good to see that Southgate has figured out the shape that works for England defensively with a back 3/back 5 when out of possession. Besides a few moments against the Dutch where they looked fairly vulnerable on the counter, their defending was quite strong, except for from set pieces. The Dutch had just 7 attempts all match long, and they weren't exactly fantastic opportunities, were they? But 2 of them that come to mind were both from set pieces. As for England's attack, the new structure of it, with Bellingham playing in that inside left channel, Foden on that inside right channel, while Saka and Trippier provide the width. Fantastic. A great fix to their previous problems that the 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3 had. Now you get the best out of Foden as he is in his right place. He was a nightmare for the Dutch, should have had a couple of goals on his own if it wasn't for Dumfries on the line or him hitting the post, and the midfield of Rice and Menu has been great. Spain's midfield will likely be Rodri, Fabian Ruiz, and Dani Olmo once again, as he fills in for the injured Pedri. Unfortunate for Pedri. Olmo has been fantastic in this tournament though, as he has scored in 3 consecutive knockout round matches for Spain, while also picking up 2 assists. He and Fabian Ruiz have been 2 of the top performers at this tournament. No goals or assists to speak of against France for Fabian Ruiz, and he had 2 dangerous mistakes in his own box that could have been costly. But other than that, he's just so good at retaining the ball, close control in tight spaces, can hit a pass through a tight corridor. Typically Spanish midfielder, right? Spain's backline will be back to normal with Lenormand and Carvajal joining Laporte and Cucurella, and with that in mind, let's talk about a couple of the battlegrounds in this match, shall we? When you think of the threat of Spain, you think primarily of their flanks, as both Nico Williams and Lamine Yamal have terrifying pace, but even more than that, a tremendous amount of trickery. Williams had a quieter matchup against Jules Koundé, but he still had moments where he would twist a defender into a pretzel. I think when you consider Saka and Walker playing on his side of the pitch, it will be more difficult for Williams once again. Walker has shown throughout his career that he has the pace, strength, positioning, ability to read the match and stay aware, switched on in order to handle tricky, pacey wingers. So I think that this will be a pretty well contested fight down their shared flank. The other side, however, with Yamal up against Trippier and Guéhi has been a standout performer for England in this tournament, really impressed with the Crystal Palace man so far. Trippier, however, not a natural left back. Thinking of him up against Yamal would scare me a little bit. We've seen Shaw come on the pitch in the last couple of matches. I don't think he'll start, but Southgate will be monitoring that situation during the match. Lamine Yamal played against Rabiot, Kante, Theo Hernandez, and at times Saliba when Saliba was drawn out to him, and he still found joy. He's an absolute handful, and in my opinion, not a daring opinion, he will be central to Spain's success, maybe player of the tournament, depending how this final goes. The idea of Carvajal up against his Real Madrid teammate Jude Bellingham is an interesting one, especially with how well Carvajal played this season as a whole, as he rolled back the years for Real Madrid. But for England's hopes in the attack, I am looking at how Kane, Foden, Saka, and at times Walker can combine on that right side up against Marc Cucurella. To his credit, Cucurella has been quite strong in this tournament, make no mistake of that, but if you think of where England's danger has come from in the last two matches, it's been that right flank. Saka also had a goal disallowed against the Netherlands for a Walker offside as they attacked down that right side again, but that side of the pitch showed how well they can combine, and Palmer coming off of the bench and playing in the Foden position isn't exactly a reprieve for their opponents, is it? I think that side of the pitch is central to England's success in the attack. That's where I see a lot of the industry coming from. And speaking of central, it's not as if England can ignore that part of the pitch either, as Spain's midfield is so massively impressive when it comes to their technical ability. The way that all three of them are capable of manipulating defenders, unlocking defenses, while Morata floats around and occupies whichever pockets of space he can find. It's a scary prospect to defend against. There are so many moving parts in the attack, dynamic parts in Spain's attack, as Fabian Ruiz also has a knack for making runs to the back post when Yamal is on the ball on the right. He did that against Georgia and scored. He did that early against France and his header was just off target. Watch out for that. When Yamal is tiptoeing with the ball around the corner of the 18, when he cuts inside, watch where Fabian Ruiz ends up. So, who's going to win this one? I don't know for sure. Nobody does. Will it be Spain, who have won 2 out of the last 3 finals that they have made in this competition? When combined with the World Cup, they have won 3 out of the last 4 major international tournaments finals that they have made. England lost the last final they were in, so will England get it over the line thanks to the old "you gotta lose one in order to win one" notion? I personally don't think so. It feels like a bridge too far. Maybe 3rd time's the charm for them, but I'm sticking with Spain, who have been my pick for this tournament since the 2nd round of group stage matches. I originally had France as the winners prior to the tournament beginning, but they slumped, man. But yes, I think Spain will take it, as their quality in this tournament against difficult oppositions especially stands at 6 wins from 6, and I think they'll make it 7 from 7, a perfect way to cap off their tournament, and you wouldn't begrudge them of that, would you? I will say though, if England continue on this trajectory of form, mostly in the attack with this new shape they have, their chances are much better than if you would have asked me about this final like after the Switzerland match, after the Slovakia match, after the group stage. So that's how I see it. You guys let me know what you think about this final, who you think will take it all, and whether England will surprise Spain and most viewers of this final. Beyond that, my name's Adrian, and I will see you after the final on Sunday. Be well, guys.